In 1966, Brazil. On a lonely hill, two men were found dead. They were lying side by side. There were no signs of panic, no signs of a fight, no signs they had tried to run. It looked as if, until their final moment, they had accepted whatever was about to happen. They were dressed in clean suits. Over those suits they wore raincoats, but the sky had been dry, and on their faces there were strange masks made of lead. Near the bodies, investigators found a short note. At the appointed time, take the capsules, wait for the signal. The large amount of cash they had carried that day was gone. Later, witnesses would claim an orange light had been seen above the hill that night. Some believed the men were waiting for something not of this world. Others believed they had been deceived, and some think they never understood they were walking toward their own deaths. One of Brazil's strangest mysteries. The lead mask's case. That night, who did they trust? The two men were Miguel Viana and Manuel Cruz. They were not criminals. They were not wealthy. They were not famous. They were ordinary men. Men with families. Men with routines. Men who lived quiet lives inside their community. Both were skilled with electronics of repairs, radios, wiring, communication devices, basic electrical systems. They were practical men. Reliable men. The kind of men people do not expect to become part of a mystery. But they had another interest. The unseen world. Communication through radio waves, spirits, other dimensions, unknown intelligence. In Brazil at that time, belief in spiritual contact and supernatural messages was spreading quickly. Some believed machines could speak with the dead. Others believed certain frequencies could reach beings beyond human understanding, and many believe Miguel and Manuel had fallen deeply into that world. By all accounts, they took such ideas seriously. On the day they vanished, they told their families they were leaving to buy work materials. It sounded routine, simple, forgettable. But later, their family said something felt wrong. They were quieter than usual. They avoided eye contact. They seemed distracted, not excited, nervous. And before leaving, they took with them a large amount of cash. Too much money for a normal errand. Was it payment? Was it an offering? Was it the price of something they had been promised? At the time, no one knew. That trip would be their last. They left the city and traveled toward Niterói near Rio de Janeiro. But their destination was not a store, not a workshop, not a friend's house. It was a remote hill, tall grass, open sky, a high place overlooking the city below. Quiet in daylight, nearly empty at night. Why there? If they were meeting someone, there were easier places. A cafe, a parking lot, an office, a street corner. But instead, they climbed a hill. Some believe they went there to watch the sky, to witness a light, to receive a signal. Others believe they wanted privacy, a hidden meeting, a ritual, a transaction, or a trap. But one thing is clear, they did not end up there by chance. That hill was the destination. Someone may have chosen it for them. August 1966. Children were flying kites near the hillside. The wind was strong. The weather was calm. It should have been an ordinary afternoon. Then one child looked uphill. Two figures lay motionless in the grass. At first, they thought the men were sleeping, or drunk, or resting. But they did not move. The children grew uneasy and called nearby adults. When people climbed the hill, the men were already dead. They lay close together, side by side. There were no marks in the dirt, no signs of panic, no signs of struggle. They did not look like men who died in fear. They looked like men who had waited quietly for something. That detail haunted investigators. If they had been attacked, why did they not resist? Why did they not run? Why did they both remain there until the end? Perhaps until their final moment, they still trusted the person beside them. The strangest objects at the scene were found on their faces. Lead masks. They were not full masks. They covered the upper face with openings for the eyes, crude, handmade, roughly cut, but clearly intentional. Protection from bright light, protection for the eyes, protection from radiation. Or perhaps equipment needed to witness something. Most important of all, there were no signs the masks had been forced on them, which means they likely brought them themselves. So, before they died, why did they wear them? What were they expecting to see? And the darker question, who convinced them they would need them? Their clothing confused even the police. Both men wore clean suits, polished shoes, formal clothes. But over those suits, they wore raincoats. The problem was simple. There had been no rain, no storm, no sudden weather. So, why would two men climb a hill wearing raincoats under a dry sky? Were they protecting equipment? Trying to keep chemicals off their skin? Following instructions for some ritual? Or had someone told them exactly what to wear? A suit, a raincoat, a lead mask. None of it belongs together, and yet all of it feels planned, as if someone had designed the scene before they ever arrived. The most famous clue was a small handwritten note, only a few lines. At the appointed time, take the capsules. Wait for the signal. It did not read like a suicide note. There was no apology, no fear, no explanation. It sounded more like instructions, a checklist. At the appointed time, meaning someone had arranged a meeting. Take the capsules, meaning they had been told to consume something. Wait for the signal. This was the strangest line of all. Whose signal? A signal from the person they were meeting, a radio transmission, a flash of light, or something they believed would come from the sky. Many still believe the men were not acting freely. They were following someone else's plan. During the investigation, police confirmed an important fact. Before leaving home, the men had taken a large amount of cash, a serious amount of money for that time. Their families believed it was for business materials. But when the bodies were found, the money was gone. Only small coins remained. Their wallets were there. The cash was not. That detail changed everything. If this was an accident, why was only the money missing? If this was voluntary, why did they need so much cash? Had they already paid someone? Was it the price for a promised encounter? Or had someone lured them there for the money? A fraud, a setup, a planned crime? From that moment on, the case became more than a mysterious death. It became possible that someone else had been there. As more details emerged, the case became stranger. The two men were not only technicians, they were believed to be connected to circles that embraced spiritualism, supernatural contact, and communication with unseen beings. Groups that believed machines could speak with spirits, that certain frequencies could open contact with other dimensions, that at a certain place at a certain hour, a signal would arrive. Today it sounds impossible, but at that time, many people truly believed it. And belief sometimes is stronger than reason. Were they foolish men, or simply ordinary men who trusted too deeply? After the deaths, stories spread through the area. That same night, an orange light had been seen above the hill. Some said it hovered in place. Others insisted it was unlike any aircraft. And soon, people connected everything. The note, the signal, the hill, the masks, the appointed time, the light in the sky. It all seemed to fit. but skeptics argued those memories changed later, after the case became famous. No one knows the truth. But one thing is certain. The orange light story helped turn this case into legend. No one saw their final moments, but clues remain. They arrived at the appointed place, at the appointed time, wearing suits, wearing raincoats, carrying lead masks. They likely checked the note, and they may have taken whatever capsules the note mentioned. Sedatives, hallucinogens, poison. No one knows. Then perhaps they looked to the sky. Perhaps they waited for a light. Perhaps they waited for someone to arrive. Or perhaps someone was already there, speaking calmly while they still believed. And the darkest possibility of all. Until the very end, they may never have realized they had been deceived. They waited for a signal, but what arrived was not rescue. It was their end. Police never reached a final conclusion, so 3 possibilities remain. First, a fatal experiment. The capsules caused a deadly reaction. Second, a fraud. Someone promised them contact with the unknown, took their money, and left them to die. Third, murder. They were brought there for reasons hidden forever. But none of these theories explains everything. Every answer is missing one final piece. And that missing piece has never been found. 1966, Brazil. 2 men were found on a lonely hill in one of the strangest scenes ever recorded. Suits, raincoats under a dry sky, lead masks, missing cash, a handwritten note, at the appointed time, take the capsules. Wait for the signal. What were they waiting for? A signal from the sky, contact with spirits, or betrayal already set in motion. Perhaps the most frightening part was never the masks. It was that they may have trusted until the very end. Belief can be quiet. Belief can leave no wounds. Belief can destroy a life without making a sound. That hill in Brazil still remains. And so does the question. That night, were they waiting for a signal? Or for betrayal already waiting there? If this story left you wondering, the next one is waiting for you. Subscribe and stay with us.